It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, what is today? Today's the 15th day of August 2024. Coming to you from the Inside Passage from Vancouver up to toward Anchorage. We're going into Ketchikan tomorrow. Kind of an interesting note. Last night, which we were just not far out of Vancouver, they saw several good-sized pods of whales. So that's encouraging for this cruise to see them this early. It was at about 8:30 last night. Unfortunately, I already called it a night. Yesterday was, there's several reasons. One, my apologies for the lack of show yesterday. As much as I had promised one, it just didn't happen. The hotel in Vancouver, even though it was supposed to be wheelchair accessible, it was tiny. The bathroom absolutely was not wheelchair accessible. It had a tub, no bench or seat. Of course, I can't step into a tub anyway, but I mean, it was just totally inappropriate. And with Gary and I in the same room, there was just no place for me to set up the research a show. So I didn't get done yesterday morning, and I mean, I had time, but there just wasn't any way of setting up my computer and stuff and doing the research. It takes, I spend, very few people realize it, but I might spend 4.5 to 5 hours putting the show together each day. So today's show, for instance, it is 8 o'clock ship's time, 8 a.m. ship's time. I started working on the show about 2:45 this morning, ship's time. So, I didn't sleep much. And I ended up going to bed early. So when they saw the whales last night, I was already in bed. So I'm a lightweight anyway when it comes to that. First of the important things. Cheers, everybody. Those of you that worry about my health, I'm working on my vegetable levels today. A very good Bloody Mary. All right, today's show brought to you by MSC Cruises and Will US, the owner of Scooter. The main story this morning is Hurricane Ernesto warning issued for Bermuda and the resulting cruise industry changes because of Ernesto. Also today, smart containers used by MSC brands. Greenland cruise canceled. Second ship impacted by protesters. Free port parking. Lost Dunes mini golf, and just breaking this morning, a fire on a cruise ship, Injures 3. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning from the Grand Princess. Today, folks, is National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. I can deal with that. As a matter of fact, I had that last night. So, didn't mind that at all. If you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome, of course. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. We do this every day, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. World. It's going to be dicey for me this week, since they're 3 hours behind us at home. Behind, whatever you call it that way. It's way early here. I did come down to do it fairly public place today, even though this is a sea day. By being 8 in the morning, I figured, well, it's not going to be, that loud. I mean, there's some normal noise. Let's see if I can flip this around. If you can see across the way there, that's the International Cafe. And the bar here immediately, which is showing to the right on the screen, is the Good Spirits Bar, which is a really cool bar. I spent some time here last night with Gary Older Than Dirt. And speaking of the devil, there's Gretchen and Fred just popped down. How'd you get him out of bed?
It was tough.
She gets up at like 4:30. I'm still trying to sleep.
Yeah. Well, Gretchen and Fred just popped in the house. So, cheers, y'all. I'm ahead of you.
Not by much.
All right. So, where was it? Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about this stupid hurricane. Get started with the news. I tell you what, before we start talking about the news, how about a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors? All right, now on with the news. And by the way, folks, you'll notice that my procedures are a little different on today's show. Well, number one, I'm not 100% sure about the Wi-Fi and how good a signal I'm putting out to you. It's been a little iffy. It seems right now like it's stable, but who knows? The other thing where I normally pre-record stories and have them up, so I'm just switching, doing a show. Haven't had the time to do that with the major time difference. All right. Major hurricane warning issued for Bermuda. Currently, the location is about 635 miles southwest of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds at 85 miles an hour. It's currently moving north at 13, so it has made the turn as we projected several days ago. The pressure has dropped to 979 and dropping. Strengthening is forecast during the next day or two, and Ernesto could become a major hurricane by Friday. Ernesto is forecast to be a large hurricane near Bermuda or on Bermuda by Saturday, possibly a Category 3 storm. In the key messages from the National Hurricane Center, Ernesto is expected to approach Bermuda late Friday and be near the island Saturday and Saturday night. A prolonged period of strong wind and storm surge is expected on Bermuda beginning Friday, and a hurricane warning has been issued for the island. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion. Rainfall associated with Ernesto is expected to begin to affect Bermuda later today and may result in flash flooding Friday through the weekend. Even though Ernesto is forecast to remain well offshore of the U.S. East Coast, swells generated by the storm are expected to reach the area late this week and into next weekend. So beachgoers in the U.S. should be aware of a significant risk to life-threatening surf and rip currents. Stay out of the water if advised by the lifeguards. Surf and rip currents are also possible on the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, and the Bahamas in the next few days. This storm is turning into quite a bit more than I think anybody expected. Yesterday, Ernesto hit Puerto Rico hard. Rising waters in Puerto Rico's Garabo River in the east central part of the island forced cows to fight for their lives wading in neck-deep water. I've never talked about cows and hurricanes before, but they got to put up with it too. Over half of Puerto Rico is without power still this morning. All right, here's a bunch of changes affecting the cruise industry. By the way, folks, let's see. I've got Okay, I'm doing it backwards. I'm not used to doing things this way now, so bear with me. Honest, I'll get it straightened out eventually. Here's the. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's Ernesto. Nothing like a little bit of dead air there. You'll see Ernesto as it is now. All right, so some of the changes now that Ernesto is causing. Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas will not be sailing to Bermuda as planned on the departure for today. A night sailing round trip from Cape Liberty originally included a stop at King's Wharf, but that is no longer possible due to the projected track of Ernesto. Guests booked on that sailing were notified of the cancellation via email and text message the day before embarkation. The notification says, in order to stay safe and clear of the hurricane, we will now skip over our visit to Royal Naval Dockyard, Bermuda, to travel west of the storm and south to Grand Turk. To be clear, Grand Turk was always a part of Liberty of the Seas itinerary, but the ship was not supposed to arrive until Monday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now the vessel will visit the island on Sunday, August the 18th, from 8 to 6. In addition to the time in port on Monday. Carnival Cruise Line proactively adjusted the itineraries of two of its ships as Ernesto approached Carnival Pride, which departed from Baltimore on the 11th. Had 2,000 passengers on board, moved up its only scheduled call, initially meant to dock at King's Wharf at 8 a.m. on the 14th. The ship arrived at 5 p.m. on the 13th. The change allowed passengers as much time on the island as possible, as the ship will now depart early today. Carnival Magic, which also departed on a 7-night voyage on the 11th.
A new station alert has arrived.
Yes. Canceled its stop in San Juan. Instead, the ship moved up its itinerary for calls in Puerto Plata and Turks and Caicos and added a stop in Nassau to make up for the loss. Magic even sent a rare urgent alert to passengers due to the deteriorating weather conditions in the region. Cruise line asked all passengers to return to the ship earlier than scheduled during their visit to Grand Turk yesterday. Norwegian Breakaway departed on a 7-night Caribbean cruise, originally set to visit many islands in the path of the storm, including St. Thomas and Tortola. The entire itinerary changed to a Western Caribbean cruise. Likewise, Norwegian Sky is also switched to a Western route from Miami on a 9-day Eastern Caribbean plan. They left on the 12th and have several ports of call that are normal, and due to the extra 2 days on that itinerary are also going to visit Grand Cayman and Ocho Rios. Icon of the Seas also swapped, swapped the Eastern Caribbean for the West for its round-trip voyage from Miami. Departing on the 10th, the ship canceled calls in St. Kitts and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Symphony of Seas, sailing from Cape Liberty in Bayonne, New Jersey, on the 9th, replaced its visit to Puerto Plata today with a second visit to Nassau. Rhapsody of the Sea, who home ports in San Juan, left the port before the storm on August the 11th, and it reversed its itinerary for its more than 2,400 guests to start in Barbados, then carry on to St. Lucia, Antigua, St. Martin, and the U.S. Virgin Islands before returning home on May the 18th. Wow. Funny. Okay.
Seattle is a beautiful coastal city surrounded by parks and mountains, and there's no better time to visit than the summer months. Embark on a cruise or explore the Emerald City in comfort with a mobility rental. All Seattle scooter and wheelchair rentals are 10% off until September 30th, 2024, valid for both cruise rentals and hotel residential. Just call Scootaround toll free at 888-441-7575 or reserve online. Use code Seattle10 SRN 11137 at checkout. That's Scootaround in Seattle.
All right. The next story this morning comes from our friends at MSC. Two cruise lines, MSC Cruises and its sister brand, Explora Journeys, are delivering higher quality foods and fresh produce to their guests thanks to a new way of shipping food products from warehouses to their vessels. The two cruise brands are divisions of MSC, a global container shipping firm based in Italy. Using MSC smart containers, the cruise lines are assured of provisioning the freshest produce and foods available as their vessels operate voyages in virtually every region of the world. In 2023, MSC began using smart containers to transport foods from a supply warehouse in Genoa to its cruise ships. They reported a higher level of food produce product quality versus 2022. All right, also from MSC, sorry about my throat giving away, folks. By the way, I didn't mention it. It's a little cool this morning. The high today is only going to be like 59. So I've got long sleeves on, long pants on. But we are going for Alaska after all. All right, so the second MSC story, and folks, you'll tell from this, just because they're a partial sponsor of the show, doesn't mean that I won't be critical if I think they're wrong. MSC Cruises has reached out to guests booked aboard the June 29th sailing of the Poesia, that's the 29th of 2025, sailing of the MSC Poesia to notify them that the sailing has been canceled. The itinerary was to have been a 21-night sailing to Greenland and other destinations in Northern Europe, but it is no longer available. It should also be noted that the cancellation also applies to the ship's June 28th, 2025 departure date. MSC Cruises offers multi-port embarkation when sailing in Europe, and any guest on this Greenland sailing will have the same cancellation regardless of their embarkation. A little lumpiness there. First time I felt that on this ship. We regret to inform you that due to operational reasons affecting the deployment of the Poesia, your upcoming cruise has been canceled, the notification read. We understand that this may cause inconvenience, and we certainly apologize for the disappointment this may cause. I hate those messages. No further details about the operational reasons have been disclosed, and it appears the ship will still be offering Northern European sailings during the cruise window at the end of June 2025. Shorter cruises aboard the Poesia are available at the time on the MSC website, with destinations that include Norway, Denmark, Germany, and Sweden, just not Greenland. There's no indication that MSC Poesia has any technical difficulties that would make the longer sailing unsafe or unavailable, and the ship is not being removed from service for any maintenance or repairs. Okay, MSC, then let's be forthcoming. Say the problem is Greenland. Say because the Greenland ports are all used tenders, other might keep you from being able to go ashore. Say the weather up there could be horrible. just cancel people and not give them any reason. I'm not just fussing at MSC for this. All the cruise lines do it. And as far as a cruiser goes, that's pure crap. Okay. Now, here's another problem. Remember the protests we had in Amsterdam last week? Seven Seas Mariner, a luxury cruise ship owned by Region Seven Seas, experienced significant delays entering the Bermuda, Netherlands, due to a blockade by environmental activists at the port's locks. The unexpected halt, just 19 miles from Amsterdam, disrupted the travel plans for 700 passengers. It was part of the grand adventure of Seven Seas. The blockade occurred on the 11th when 8 members of the group Extinction Rebellion, targeting the environmental impact of cruise operations, chained themselves to the locked gates. Unbelievable. This was some good news. Drive to cruise ports are popular with cruisers who want to avoid airports and air travel. Excuse me. While the convenience is an incentive, there are expenses that come with bringing a vehicle into the cruise port, namely parking fees. In a new partnership between UK Portsmouth International Port and Fred Olsen Cruise Line, cruise guests will park for free on some of the cruise lines' 2024 and 2025 voyages aboard the 1,400 guest Borealis. The limited time offer is valid on bookings made through October 31st. Icon of the Seas has opened a new feature, the Lost Dunes golf course. Aboard Icon of the Seas is meticulously crafted 9-hole miniature golf course, part of the Thrill Island entertainment area on deck 16. Designed by Adventure Golf and Sports, the course is themed around a post-hurricane deserted island, offering a visually captivating and immersive experience for players. And finally this morning, a fire broke out on a cruise ship. This is a China-owned cruise ship, Adora Mediterranean, while it was docked at South Korea's Jeju Island port, injuring 3 crew members. The incident happened just an hour after the ship, formerly known as Costa Mediterranea, arrived at the port with 2,430 passengers on board. No news yet on how seriously the 3 crewmen were injured. There's no news on their exact position. The alarm was sounded when thick smoke was seen rising from the ship. The fire is believed to have started in the engine room, where it burned approximately 50 square meters, including the ceiling and pipes. Fortunately, the ship's sprinkler system activated, and the fire was extinguished before it could spread further. So, thankfully, it's not as bad as it could have been. All right, that's going to wrap up the news portion of today's show. Let's go see who's in the chat room fussing at me today. Mike's with us. I said hello to him. There's Hot Air Tom. Joanne's with us. Hope the travels went well. Okay, so the first flight from Richmond to Charlotte I don't think was even half full. So, I mean, there was loads of room, smooth flight. I had a really short turnaround time and had adequate time to do it. I just got to the port on time. I mean, to the gate on time for the second flight to Charlotte. But the flight was nice. The second flight was full. I mean, full to the gills. And that was a long flight from Charlotte to Vancouver. We actually got in about 15 minutes early in Vancouver. I'm just terribly uncomfortable flying. My body isn't made for airplane seats. So I was very uncomfortable. Then I talked a little bit about the hotel, and it was not as accessible as it should have been, and as was advertised, which limited me of being able to do any work without completely running all over top of Gary Holder the dirt. By the way, I haven't seen Gary this morning, but Gary and Gretchen and Fred and I met up the first time up on 14 yesterday, right after boarding. Then I had a drink in the afternoon with Gretchen and Fred, drink with Gary later in the afternoon. Then the four of us met for drinks here at Good Spirits Bar on deck 5. And then we went, that way, to Michelangelo for dinner last night. It was a very nice dinner. So I hope one day, I'm not going to promise today, but I hope one day to film the show in the Good Spirits Bar. It's phenomenal. The lady bartender actually demonstrates and talks her way through some of the fancier drinks. It's really neat. So I'm hoping to film that. I'm still getting used to this ship. It's a little bit different layout than other princess ships that I've been on. And I'm not saying that negatively. I'm just not 100% comfortable with where I got to go to get where I need to be. So, but I'm getting there. All right, let's see. Mike says hello to Tom. My favorite cocktail, MSC Bloody Mary. I like my Bloody Marys. I don't have them every day. You know, I do them on occasion. And this is a very good one, by the way. Bob's with us. Good morning, Bob. Wow, there's Gretchen. Gretchen's right over there. She said hello. Oh, there's one I can't pronounce. Giovanna Dadidio. I might have screwed that name up, but welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. Signal seems good at the moment. Thank you, Mike. There's Steve out of Kentucky. Good morning, Steve. Our MSC, I'm on Princess, Mike. It's sponsored by MSC, but I'm on Princess. But yes, Mike, MSC does have Starlink. Todd's with us. Good morning, Todd. Hot Air says, I'll be watching Jim's departure Friday from Boston to see what they do. I'm guessing since they are scheduled to arrive in Bermuda on Sunday, and by then the storm will be on its way. I hope so. The ship will hug the U.S. coast south and follow behind the storm to Bermuda with delayed arrival in Bermuda. That's probably a good guess, Tom, as long as there's not a whole lot of damage to Bermuda. We'll just have to wait and see. Jimmy Bradley's with us. Good morning, Jimmy. Glad you made it safely. Hope you have a great cruise. I always have a great cruise, no matter what. I've never had a bad cruise, I don't think. Yeah, maybe one. But out of 92 or whatever it is. It doesn't make sense to me to change the itinerary to New England, Canada, since storm could impact that area. That's true. Wow, there's midships. Haven't seen you for a while. Hey, Chillie, great to see your channel has tripled in size since we last talked. It has. Thank you very much. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Hot Air says, when you arrived at the gate in Charlotte for the Vancouver flight, was it already boarding? Yes, it was. And because of where they had me seated on the plane, I was in row 14, which was all that was available way back when I booked the flights. That was months ago. All my other flights are, like row 4 or 5, which I can get to from the door of the plane. I wasn't sure about getting to row 14 walking. And so they said, okay, we'll use the chair in the middle. So I did that with the crew in the chair, aisle chair, and I will never do that again. Still not sure I could have made it to the aisle 14 walking. But wow, that was awful. But yeah, they had started boarding, and they do the aisle chair last. I don't know why. It's not like you. They normally take the wheelchair guests first. This time they didn't. So anyway, I got there. I got through it, and I'm on the boat. Hoping to see some whales today. Terrific about the people. It's good to see some whales last night. That's awesome and a good sign for this cruise. And that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. I will be back same time, same channel tomorrow, coming to you from Catch Cam. I will try to do this every day, even though it means me going to bed early and getting up in the middle of the night to get the show produced. But we'll keep it up. All right, guys. In the meantime, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.